There is a version of longing that most objects can never create. You want them, you buy them, the wanting ends. But a Hermès bag doesn't work that way. It sits in a glass case, untouched, unreachable, and somehow that distance is exactly what makes people fall in love with it. Look closely at it, and you start to understand why. Every seam on this bag was placed by one pair of hands, not a machine, not a factory line. One artisan, trained for years before ever being allowed near a Birkin, spending up to 24 hours shaping a single piece of leather into something that will outlive the person who eventually owns it. You can feel that time in the weight of it. You can see it in the way the leather holds its structure, the way the stitching sits so evenly it looks almost inevitable, like it could never have been made any other way. There's a specific kind of stitch used on the handles of this bag, called the saddle stitch, borrowed directly from the harness makers who founded this house nearly 2 centuries ago. It's slower than a machine stitch. It's stronger, too. Pull on it, and instead of unraveling in one clean line the way a machine stitch would, it holds, thread by thread, refusing to give way easily. There's something almost symbolic in that if you think about it long enough. A stitch that refuses to unravel, made by a bag that refuses to be rushed. And yet, for most people, owning one of these bags isn't a matter of money. It's a matter of being chosen. Hermès has never sold these bags the way anything else in the world is sold. You cannot walk in and ask for one. You cannot put your name on a list. Officially, there is no list at all. What actually happens is quieter than that and slower. A relationship forms, visit by visit, between a person and a store. Small purchases, familiar faces, time spent simply being present without asking for anything in return. And somewhere in that patience, without any warning, a bag is finally offered. This bag you're looking at right now may have taken someone 2 years to receive. It may have taken 5. For some people, it never comes at all, no matter how much they're willing to spend. That's the part that unsettles people the most, the idea that money alone cannot buy this. It shouldn't be allowed. In almost every other corner of life, enough money solves the problem. Here, it doesn't. But that's precisely why it means what it means. Think about anything you've ever wanted badly. Not casually wanted, actually wanted, the kind of wanting that sits with you at night. Chances are, the things that mattered most weren't the ones that came easily. They were the ones you had to wait for, work for, earn in a way that couldn't be rushed, no matter how much you wished it could be. There's a reason the things that come instantly rarely feel like much once we have them. And the things we wait years for can feel like they've changed something in us by the time they finally arrive. Hermès understood that truth before almost anyone else in the industry, and they built an entire identity around protecting it. They could make more bags. They have the resources, the demand, the ability to scale production tenfold if they wanted. Analysts have said as much for years, that Hermès could flood the market and multiply its profits overnight. But they don't, because the value of this bag isn't only in the leather or the craftsmanship, it's in the scarcity. The moment it becomes easy to get, it stops being this. It becomes something else entirely, something replaceable, something forgettable. Look at the hardware alone, the palladium, the gold, each piece polished individually by hand. Each buckle set with a precision that has nothing to do with speed and everything to do with care. Even the color of this leather was likely chosen from a palette that changes only slightly from year to year, some shades so rare that people track their availability the way collectors track a rare coin. Nothing about this bag was built to be fast. Nothing about it was built to be convenient. It was built the way things used to be built, before convenience became the thing we valued most. There's something almost emotional in that, if you sit with it long enough. In a world that hands us everything instantly, same-day delivery, next-day approval, one-click ownership, here is one object that refuses to move at that pace. It asks you to slow down. It asks you to want something for longer than you're used to, wanting anything. And for the people who eventually do receive one, that waiting becomes part of what they're actually holding. Not just leather and thread, but years of patience made physical. Even after it's finally purchased, the story doesn't end there. These bags rarely lose value the way most luxury items do. Some appreciate over time, outperforming gold, outperforming stocks, simply sitting in a closet, growing more valuable with every passing year. It's a strange kind of object, half fashion, half investment, half heirloom. People don't just buy this bag for themselves. They buy it, knowing it might one day sit on someone else's shoulder, passed down the way a piece of jewelry might be, carrying the story of everyone who has owned it before. That's what makes this bag different from almost anything else money can buy. It isn't just a possession. It's proof of something. Proof that you stayed the course. Proof that you didn't need instant gratification to keep showing up. Proof that some kinds of desire are worth carrying for years before they're finally answered. And maybe that's the real reason people are so captivated by these bags, even people who will never own one themselves. It isn't really about the leather or the stitching or the six-figure resale prices you hear about. It's about what the bag represents in a world that has almost forgotten how to wait for anything. It's a quiet reminder that some things still can't be rushed, no matter how much money is offered, no matter how badly someone wants it right now. There's a kind of hope hidden in that too, if you look for it, because it means value still exists outside of instant access. It means patience, consistency, and quiet effort still matter, even in an industry built on desire and image. The people who eventually hold one of these bags in their hands didn't get there by demanding it. They got there by becoming, slowly and steadily, the kind of person that kind of trust is eventually placed in. It's worth remembering, too, that the artisan who made this exact bag will likely never meet the person who ends up owning it. There's no name stitched inside, no note explaining the hours spent shaping it. Just the work itself, quiet and finished, left to speak for the person who made it. In an age where everything seems to demand recognition, there's something almost humbling about a craft this skilled choosing to stay anonymous, letting the object carry the message instead of the maker. Whatever it is you're working toward right now, one honest truth from a leather bag in a glass case is worth remembering. The best things rarely announce a date. They simply ask you to keep showing up long after it would be easier to stop wanting them at all. And somewhere down the line, whether it's a bag like this one or something entirely your own, that same quiet rule tends to hold true. The things we wait longest for are usually the ones we end up valuing most.